Hey, 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 happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Woo-hoo. So, tonight is Thursday, September 19th. This is episode 365 of The Daily Dope. So, welcome aboard, everybody. Got a lot cooking tonight. Got a lot cooking, got a lot of news, got a lot of fun stuff we're going to jump on into because probably be a little longer than usual. Hey, at least I'm starting on time, so there's that. And hopefully the sound is all in sync tonight because last night it was off just a little bit. I think it was when the power popped off because usually that is what happens on YouTube when the stream drops for a second and then YouTube picks it back up and then combines it into the one video. I have noticed a lot of times it'll throw that sound just off, not even by like a half second, by like a tenth of a second. It's usually pretty bizarre. So hopefully that will not be going on. I see the Madman's already in chat, so that's cool. We're starting off with a bang already. But I am playing around with the new camera still. I am playing around with the new lighting as well. So tonight I'm going with a bit of a more natural kind of look to it. So I guess the lighting isn't as soft on my face. So you get to see all the wonderful imperfections that I've got facially. Because I'm not wearing makeup. I'm sorry. I am 51 years old. I turn 52 next month. I'm not wearing makeup. That is not gonna be happening, Dooley. So, do want to point out this is a live show. So, if you are watching for the first time, if you're just kind of tuning in live, or maybe you're watching this after the fact, keep in mind, this is very, very casual. I basically sit and talk about tabletop gaming news, sometimes some pop culture stuff as well. But it's not rocket surgery, as I like to point out, as the Madman tells me, yes, I'm a youngster. I don't know. Got my Cubs gear on tonight because tonight starts the big series with the Cardinals. Fingers crossed. This might turn out to be the Cubs playoffs right now. So, I don't know. We will see what happens. And I am a huge Cubs fan, and I am not one of these Johnny-come-lately Cubs fans by any stretch of the imagination either. I've been a Cubs fan since the late 70s. So, anyway, as I mentioned, this is a live stream, so that means chat is available on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of these stranger commenters at bay. But I do pay attention to chat, so if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question, fire away. I do pay attention. I will respond. Of course, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. If you check out some of the videos on the channel and you like them, please subscribe. And if you do, don't forget, ring that little bell. Because not only will it notify you when the stream goes live, it will also tell you when I upload standalone videos as well. And I do that quite often. And of course, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com, my home website, which has thousands of articles, over 600 reviews. People think that the Gaming Gang channel on YouTube is pretty much all that I do, and it's like, no, it is not. So John Vogel's also in chat saying hello. Good to see you, John. Welcome aboard. So let's jump into the news because I got quite a bit of it. I will wet my whistle first. So another thing I was going to mention is, like I said, I'm playing around with the new camera, playing around with kind of like the focus, f-stop, stuff like that. So tonight, I am going with a bit of a blur in the background, just to kind of see how that ends up looking. Kabuki Kid has arrived in chat as well. We got good chat starting off early tonight. So anyway, Pandasaurus Games has an interesting looking Kickstarter just recently launched. I've got the dope on Godspeed. Godspeed is a worker placement game set in the 1960s in an alternate reality. Players take on the roles of various nations, racing to colonize the newly discovered exoplanet. The game plays out in rounds, each made up of 3 phases. During the different phases, players will have to respond to active events back on Earth or on the exoplanet, bid on cargo shipments from Earth that contain valuable supplies, and build up production or gain raw materials. In the end, the most successful nation on the exoplanet will win. Hey, and Kevin Thorpe has popped into chat. Welcome aboard, Kevin. So do want to mention that there is a Kickstarter video. This is one of the longer Kickstarter videos I have shared in a long time. It is about 4.5 minutes long, but it will go into some detail about Godspeed because there's not actually a lot of sell sheet info on the Kickstarter. It's all images, which I'm afraid I don't have time to sit down and copy down what the images have written on them. So, to save some time, we're going to check out the video. So kick back and give it a watch. If it'll start up. Boom!
Humanity has always looked to the stars. But by the mid-20th century, we wanted to touch them. While the space race captured the public's imagination, our government had discovered an alternative path forward. A wormhole to another planet. I was to be the first through, the first human to step foot on another planet.
Godspeed, Corporal.
Houston, do you copy? You're a long way from Houston, comrade.
Turns out, we were a few steps behind.
アメリカが到着したと指揮官に報告してください。
Команда помещения.
アメリカが到着しました。アメリカが到着したと指揮官に報告してください。
Hi, I'm Molly Wardlaw.
And I'm Nathan McNair, and we're the 2 co-owners of Pandasaurus Games.
And we are incredibly excited to present to you guys Godspeed. This is a game that Team Pandasaurus has been working behind the scenes on for over 2 years.
Godspeed is a 2 to 5 player asymmetric worker placement game that plays in about 60 to 90 minutes, and it's a game that we could not be prouder of.
Godspeed is set in an alternate history in which the space race was a lie and being used to cover up something far more important, the discovery of a new planet and the Cold War-style race to exploit it of its resources.
In the game, players will each take on the role of a team of specialists that are working to exploit the planet of its natural resources and, of course, claim the planet on their nation's behalf. It's such a fun theme that comes through in everything that you do throughout the game.
Right, and theme and art are obviously so important with any game, and Godspeed is absolutely brimming with both of those things. But it's gameplay that keeps you coming back again and again to this game, and at its heart, it is a mid-weight worker placement game.
That you can teach in under 10 minutes to new players.
Exactly. The thing about Godspeed is that the depth here doesn't come from a complex rule set. It instead comes from tense decision-making and high player interaction.
In Godspeed, each team member on the various nations' missions have 2 unique values: their specialty and their influence. These are critical. If you want to build up your military power on the planet, you're going to need your captain. If you want to research the alien structures, you'll need your biologist. Your most versatile team members also have the highest influence value.
So all of the action spaces in the game require a specific team member to use them. But as you go through the phases of a round, the game will ask you to send those team members to do other jobs, either to deal with global threats to the new planet or to the supply drop where the collective influence value is used in a blind bidding phase to collect resources and special abilities.
This game is full of tense decisions and insanely high player interaction. You're constantly having to look and see what other players might be thinking of doing. How many and which team members you send to the supply depot can greatly impact the goods that you get or turn order for the round, but sending too many or the wrong team members could lock you out of actions later on. Send too few, and you have more flexibility later on, but may find yourself missing out on key resources.
What we love so much about Godspeed is that it is so simple to teach. There are 3 main phases on each turn, yet there's just so much strategy there. So please consider backing Godspeed to help make this beautiful game into a reality.
And the best version of Godspeed that it can be. We have some really fun stretch goals planned. We have some deluxe upgrade kits that can make your version of Godspeed something that's really special.
And we also have a mini Dinosaur Island space-themed expansion.
Thank you so much for your time watching the video, and we hope that you'll embark on this mission with us.
Are you seriously going to end this entire video with that joke?
Yep.
Godspeed is for 2 to 5 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 90 minutes. The Kickstarter project is already well past 400% of its funding, and you can reserve a copy of the game for a $70 pledge through October 18th. The expected delivery date is actually a pretty quick turnaround on this. It is April of 2020. So pretty sweet. So everybody in chat, I had noticed this, was talking about that video, the second part of the video, which I thought it was funny because I bet almost all of you, even though I said it's about 4.5 minutes long, sat there when it said, hey, back this today. And then the first part of the video ended. You're like, oh, wow, okay, I guess it's over. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, some talking heads. And yes, they were, I don't know who shot that video, but they certainly know absolutely nothing about lighting. And do not put a black backdrop with people in black clothing with a black boxed game with a black board. And then they have this little tiny backlight. There was no separation whatsoever. It looked like, in fact, the co-owner on the right looked like he was coming like right out of the background because there was no separation for his black clothes. It was just very, very strange. But we're not here to talk about the video. We're here to talk about the game, and the game actually looks like it's pretty interesting. Although I have to admit, I'm kind of surprised that they're doing like an alternative 1960s. That to me is it's a little strange. I understand, yes, it's called Godspeed, so of course, whenever the American astronauts were sent out into space, I believe it started with John Glenn, and Mission Control was like, Godspeed, John Glenn. And they'd always say Godspeed. So, I mean, there's that. Are they kind of like trying to piggyback on the 50th anniversary of the moon landing this year? I don't know. Because it just seems kind of strange. I get it. It's an alternate reality, but it's still supposed to be like the 1960s. There's absolutely no way that technology would be able to support any, like, colonization of other planets. No, they could have said it modern or just, near future. Anyway, this could be pretty cool. Could be a pretty interesting game. And as I mentioned, a lot of people are on board, and Pandasaurus does make good games. So I still have not had a chance to play Dinosaur Island, but I have had a lot of people tell me that it is a blast. So anyway, so check that out if you would like. Hubcam 210 is popped into chat too. Good to see you, Hubcam. So Kabuki Kid says, well, it's alternate history. I can let a lot slide with that. Oh, I agree. I'm with you on that too. I just thought it was a little odd. Like I said, I think they're trying to piggyback on a little bit of the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. I think that might be what it is. Moving right on, let's get on to the second news piece because Ares Games and Phalanx Games are teaming up to bring Nerdy Nurking to stores this November. I've got the dope. Nancy Nurking is a Victorian board game of wit and podsnappery that reintroduces the well-known bestseller of Martin Wallace. Immersed deeply in the world of Dickens and Doyle's literature, the card events in the game are now tied to real and fictional characters and places in London. More specifically, following a scrupulous analysis of inspirations that were found and identified in historical English literature, all game locations, events, and characters have received new identities corresponding to the ones found in the previous edition of the game, which would have been the Discworld game. What is it? I'm in Morkport or something like that. It was the Discworld game that came out from Mayfair. The way the game retains its attractiveness to the established audience also expands its reach to a wide range of people generally interested in history and literature of the Victorian period. The action takes place on the map of London, with players placing their followers and buildings on the board through card play. Each of the 132 cards is unique, and the cards bring the game to life as they include most of the famous characters that have appeared in the various books. The rules are relatively simple. Play a card and do what it says. Most cards have more than one action on them, and you can choose to do some or all of these actions. Some cards will allow you to play a second card, so you can chain actions. At the beginning of the game, each player draws a secret personality with specific victory conditions, which means that you can never be sure what the other players need to do in order to win. You need to fulfill your goal while also trying to prevent others from winning. Simple game rules and deep immersive gameplay are the backbone of this title's success. Nerdy Nurking is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around an hour, and will carry an MSRP of $99.95 when it arrives in November. So, gotta say, this is pretty interesting. The price tag kind of made my eyes kind of bug out a little bit. 100 bones, basically, for what is essentially just a kind of a reskinning of the Discworld game from Mayfair. And of course, well, you're not going to be seeing that because Mayfair is no longer in business, and Martin Wallace tends to like to kind of reskin his designs after a while. But this does look interesting, and I heard really good things about the Discworld game that came out from Mayfair, so this might be one to watch. Although, like I said, $100 price tag's a little tough. So, I do want to talk about WizKids, because they have revealed they've got a new dungeon terrain system. It's going to be hitting stores next May. And I've got the dope on the Warlock tile sets. First, we have the starter set. The Warlock tile starter set is perfect for the beginning terrain enthusiast. It's also a great fit for hobbyists with more expertise, but not a lot of time. Also included in this set are 16 adapter clips for each of the 2 most popular clip-based tile systems, Dragon Lock and Open Lock, to help players integrate these tiles into their collection. With enough pieces to set up the equivalent of a 40-foot by 40-foot in-game room with a multitude of interior options, this is the perfect starting point for your collection. I am not going to run down the whole list of all the different pieces in this set. Suffice to say, it will carry an MSRP of $49.99. Then there's the Advanced Starter Set. The Advanced Starter Set is perfect for the more experienced terrain enthusiast. Also included in this set are 20 adapter clips for each of the 2 most popular clip-based tile systems to help players integrate those tiles into this collection. With enough big pieces to construct multiple houses or even a large keep, this is a perfect way to provide your players with an immersive environment for all of your adventures. Now, this advanced set will carry an MSRP of $99.99. Do notice that the doors all function, the doors all open and close, so that could be kind of cool. And I gotta admit, $99 is a pretty nice price for a larger terrain set like this. So, especially when you see some of the terrain sets that are out there that are really, really pricey. They're cool, don't get me wrong, but some of them can be pretty pricey. And I'm trying to figure out, I couldn't tell from the photos. I was trying to see if they were using the pre-painted minis from WizKids, and it looks like they are. Because I was like, well, it'd be kind of weird if they weren't, seeing that WizKids have all those different pre-painted minis. So let's talk about some role-playing game news, because Thursdays were always reserved for role-playing games when I was doing the unboxings and reviews on the Daily Dope. So I do want to say that I mentioned the Root role-playing game Quick Start last night. It's free on DriveThruRPG right now. And tonight, let's talk about the full-fledged game, which is currently on Kickstarter. It is from Magpie Games, and here's the dope. Root, the tabletop role-playing game, is a game of woodland creatures fighting for money, justice, and freedom. Freedom! From powers far greater than them. Based on the Root, a game of woodland might and right board game, and officially licensed by Leader Games, Root, the TTRPG, brings the tales of the woodland to your RPG table. In Root, you play vagabonds, outcasts from the normal society of the woodlands, who have come to live in these spaces between, whether that's in the forest themselves or on the fringes of society. You are competent and skilled. You have to be to survive as vagabonds, and you aren't tied down to any particular place or faction. You might be a Badger Arbiter, serving many sides and resolving conflicts and defending their interests. You might be a Cat Scoundrel, sliding on your mask before you sneak out into the darkness to cause mischief and mayhem. You might be a Wolf Ranger, at home in the wilds in the untamed places of the woodland. Root is based on the Powered by the Apocalypse system used by tabletop RPGs like Apocalypse World, Dungeon World, and many of Magpie Games' own games like Masks: A New Generation, Urban Shadows, and Zombie World. I think Zombie World is the latest one that they had come out with. Masks is actually very, very good too. It's really, really nice. It uses the core framework of that system and provides a strong, simple way to tell your own stories of adventure in the woodland. You'll create a character using one of several vagabond archetypes, and then you'll take action, rolling 2 6-sided dice to resolve the outcomes of desperate situations. Root creates stories like those you'd find in Redwall, Watershut Down, Mouseguard, The Warriors, and the Guardians of Gahuli. Wait a second, The Warriors? Like the movie The Warriors? No, it's gotta be different. This is Warriors, come on, play, yay! No, I'm sure it is not that. I'm sure it's probably a anthropomorphic animals book, and not the famous movie from the late 70s. This project is well past the 200% funding goal, and you can reserve a copy of the core book and the Travelers and Outsiders supplement, which are both scheduled to be 240 pages each. You can get the PDFs for a $20 pledge. You can get both books in hardcover for a $75 pledge through October 20th. Expected delivery is September of next year, including for the PDFs. Aha. So, anyway, Flaming Huron's in chat, and Kraken Wise in chat as well. So, yeah, this looks pretty fun. As I mentioned before, there is the Quick Start. It is available. I think it's... I could have swore now. I'm trying to remember. I just glanced at it yesterday. I thought it was like 64 pages, maybe? So, and it's free. It's a free Quick Start to check out. So I would definitely recommend, if you are interested in taking a look at possibly backing this Kickstarter, by all means, go to DriveThruRPG and download that free Kickstarter right now. So Kabuki Kid says, yep, that's what we do. We crack wise. So, is saying archetype as archetype acceptable? Always knew it as archetype, yes. But I did say it quickly. Yes, it is archetype. But I did say archetype kind of quick. But yes, it is not archetype, because that's never how I've pronounced it. All right, moving right along. There's a new bundle of holding. I've got the dope.
War rages across.
Sure. Oh, whoa, wait, whoa! I forgot. I got a video, Kickstarter video for Root. Duh. Let's jump in real quick. It's pretty short.
War rages across the woodland. The Marquise de Cat and her armies clash with the Eyrie dynasties and their loyalists. Clearing after clearing faces the fires of battle. Amid the war, you and your friends arise, a band of vagabonds beholden to no power and capable of tipping the balance. Arbiters, rangers, scoundrels, thieves, tinkers, and vagrants, all rogues. Perhaps you will serve the woodland denizens, helping them through hard times. Perhaps you'll become bandits and raiders, taking goods and dignity from foes. Perhaps you'll take up arms and lead the Woodland Alliance into battle. Or perhaps you'll become valued lieutenants of the Eyrie dynasties. The choice of who you will become and what fate will befall the woodland is yours to make. Root, the tabletop role-playing game, is based on the same world as the award-winning Root, a Game of Woodland Might and Right board game, released in 2018 by Leader Games. Where the board game allowed you to take on the high-level role of the leadership of a faction, the tabletop role-playing game allows you to take on the role of individual characters, vagabonds. Root, the tabletop role-playing game, will give you all the tools and rules you need to play through the adventures of your own band of vagabonds as they reshape the woodland. Pick up your sword, stand strong against your foes. The woodland needs you.
There you have it. There's the video. Good deal. So, so there's some discussion right now in chat talking about the good old pronunciation of Avernus or Avernus. And it was funny because I thought it was Avernus. Oh, no, when I did my page through, I said Avernus. And then I heard other people calling it Avernus. It's kind of weird. It's like I even said in my review. It's kind of like, you know what? I'm the dungeon master here. I'll pronounce it however the hell I want. It's like, it's my money. So anyway, as I started to mention, there is a new bundle of holding. I've got the dope Adventurer. This Savage Battlefield bundle presents tabletop role-playing game campaign settings published by Battlefield Press for Pinnacle Entertainment's Fast, Furious, Fun, Savage Worlds Deluxe Edition RPG, and one for the new Savage Worlds Adventure Edition 2. And this all-new offer, which helps Battlefield owner Jonathan Thompson and his family after an arsonist burned their home, you can get Victorian and World War I fantasy, Cthulhuoid space opera, Robin Hood adventure, and more for a bargain price. For just $7.95, you get all 5 campaign settings in the Starter Collection, which holds a retail value of $48.50, as PDFs, including the Starfaring Cthulhu Mythos setting Eldritch Skies, plus the Kindle version and GM screen insert, the World War I alternate history fantasy Kaiser's Gate, plus the Kaiser's Gate field manual, mounts and adventures, and archetypes, and Sherwood, the Legend of Robin Hood 2nd Edition. And if you pay more than the threshold price of $18.77, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 5 more titles worth an additional $55.50, including the Eldritch Skies supplement Distant Vistas, the modern-day supernatural Agents of Gaia, the post-apocalyptic exploration of a world reborn, the Dinosaur Protocol, Gaslight Victorian Fantasy 3rd Edition, plus the Gaslamp Map Pack and Calendar Pack 1888, and the 1920s one-shot adventure set in the Kaiser's Gate background, Wizards and Wise Guys, Public Enemies. On August 6th, as Battlefield Press owner Jonathan Thompson and his family were on their way back from Gen Con, a burglar robbed their home in Shreveport, Louisiana, and then set the house on fire. The fire destroyed collectibles, about a third of my gaming collection, general reference books, and my work computer, says Jonathan. We have insurance, but there is a $2,500 deductible, and we will be displaced to a hotel for at least the next 5 to 6 months. Ordinary, I should say, ordinarily, 10% of the revenue for a bundle of holding is given to a charity. For this Savage Battlefield bundle, they're adding the charity portion to the publisher's share in order to help Jonathan cope with this disaster. You have 25 days to take advantage of this bundle. Yes, and as Kabuki Kid says, that is one brutal burglary. Yeah, that is just terrible. That's crazy. Who would one thing to rob somebody's house, but then try to burn it down? That's just crazy. So, Jorge Rodriguez is in chat too. We got a good chat going tonight. Quite a few people hanging out. So, my final news piece. Advanced Labyrinth Lord from Goblinoid Games. There is a new edition. They like to release these special kind of collector's editions. So the fall 2019 edition has arrived, and here's the dope. The annual Pumpkin Spice edition of Advanced Labyrinth Lord features a pumpkin Halloween-themed cover and is only available until November 1st. The content of the book is identical to the other cover version of Advanced Labyrinth Lord, but this limited edition is offered at a reduced price. And do want to point out, no actual pumpkin spice is used in the production of this book. Plus, there is no PDF option available for this book either. Labyrinth Lord doesn't waste precious game time. We're older now, especially me. It's hard enough setting aside time to game. Then you have to wrangle all your players together at the same time. Last thing you want is your hard-fought game time wasted. Combats in Labyrinth Lord are resolved quickly. Running adventures isn't bogged down with bloated monster stats and overcomplicated combats. Get right into the fun stuff, squeezing the most adventure out of your time. Play the game on your own terms. Most of us started out with the basic game, working in advanced elements without even realizing basic and advanced were supposed to be different games. I think we all know which game we're talking about here, too, when we're talking about basic, possibly even expert, eh? And we all might have created our own Frankenstein's monster of rules in slightly different ways, but Labyrinth Lord lets you play the game the way you want it. If you want to keep basic classes, you can, and play them right along with the advanced classes. Or just use the advanced options. Pick and choose what you want to place in your game on your own terms. Play the game like you remember it. Feel the adventure like you remember it. That's why they're sharing Labyrinth Lord with you right now. So you can grab the limited edition of the 2019 Pumpkin Spice edition of Advanced Labyrinth Lord, which combines both together. I want to say, I think it's a 274-page book, somewhere around there. And it is available for $34.95. So Kabuki Kid mentions kind of unusual not to have a PDF option. And the reason is, all that's going on, all that's different here is simply that it's got a different cover. So it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. Because I want to say, I think Labyrinth Lord already has 2 or 3 PDF covers that are available for it at Drive-Thru-RPG. That'd be kind of odd to toss in yet another one. Plus, it wouldn't make it very exclusive anymore, would it? Simply, anybody could take that digital file and slap it on a PDF and you're good to go. So, but yes, I also personally prefer physical books to get my hands on as well. But then again, I also enjoy PDFs because it's nothing like just busting out the tablet, carry the tablet with me someplace, be reading something. A lot of times I'll go out to dinner, I'll bring a book with, and usually it's on a tablet. It's on my iPad. So that is it for the news tonight. Do want to mention that, of course, if you like the Gaming Gang channel, if you like the Daily Dope, if you enjoy the GamingGang.com, you already know that it's pretty much a not-for-profit endeavor around here. So, if you like what I do, please consider making a small donation to Little Bub's Big Fund and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Little Bub's Big Fun does provide grant monies to organizations which care for special needs animals who are awaiting adoption, waiting to find a forever home. 100% of all funds raised by Lil Bub's Big Fund is awarded as grant monies too, so it's important to keep that in mind. So like I said, if you enjoy the show, if you like the website, please consider, even if it's a couple of dollars, it's still something. It's going to help some animals in need. And as someone who has adopted shelter pets nearly my entire life, I can tell you right now, these animals will pay back any love you give them like 1,000 times, I swear. So that is almost it for the show. As far as chat, don't have any questions popping up. Yes, Flaming Huron was asking if the cover is a collectible. Yeah, it's a limited edition for the Advanced Labyrinth Lord Pumpkin Spice Edition for this year, and you can only order it until November 1st. So, and I have seen the print-on-demand stuff from Drive-Thru RPG, and it's nice. It's very nicely done. I was very pleasantly surprised when I did review a couple of RPG books that were print-on-demand. Well, yeah, I guess it's print-on-demand from Drive-Thru, so pretty sweet. Also, I do want to point out, I always like to mention that the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope and the Gaming Gang channel are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go over to Drive-Thru RPG, please swing by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banners. That way, if you happen to make a purchase at Drive-Thru, I get a little portion of that sale, and all those little pieces add up. And I really appreciate everyone who does that, because the way things break out, there are probably hundreds of downloads for purchases on Drive-Thru RPG that are affiliated with the Gaming Gang. So, love it, because it actually 9 times out of 10 does pay for the hosting for the Gaming Gang website. So that helps keep me around. All right, so there was one last thing I wanted to share, and I think it might have been Hubcam 210 might have just mentioned this, that maybe it was Kabuki Kid talking about that Humble Bundle is supposed to have a big bundle of RPG books going on right now, and I believe it is. I do believe. This is a Flaming Huron saying, I'll stick to buying my PDFs and giving Jeff some of my hard-earned money. Thank you. It's not a lot, trust me, but hey, anything helps. But I was going to say that Humble Bundle does have a collection of my all-time favorite comic strip that I grew up with. I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school when I was introduced to Bloom County. Berkeley Breathed's comic strip. He won a Pulitzer for it, too. And I used to get the Sun-Times every day going to school. And the first thing I would read was the latest Bloom County. Then I'd read the sports, and then maybe read, what was going on in the world. But there is a Humble Bundle going on right now, and it collects everything that's out there digitally right now for Bloom County. So you get the complete collection. So the entire first run of Bloom County. You also get the Opus and Outland books as well, and I want to say it's 3 books that are out from the relaunch in 2015. Berkeley Breathed came back, and Bloom County's back. So you get all of those. Get ready for this. And of course, it's digital. You get all of it for $15. It is awesome. That is fantastic. Kabuki Kid mentioned that the Far Side is coming back. Wow, that's a blast from the past too. It was Gary Larson. I almost said Greg Larson, but no, I want to say wasn't it Gary Larson? That was a pretty wild strip. But yes, Bloom County, loved it, and for $15, come on, you just can't beat that price. And I used to love, my favorite character was Steve Dallas. And it's funny, now I haven't taken and I had a stuffed Opus. In fact, it was funny because I had almost considered trying to track down another stuffed Opus, because obviously I haven't had that in years. But, so Jorge Rodriguez says, personally prefer Tintin. That's completely different. That's like saying, well, I prefer Little Orphan Annie. It's not a political cartoon. So, well, politically tinted, I guess we'll say. But, yeah, I used to read Bloom County every single day. And the one thing I liked is because we didn't get the Sun-Times on Sundays, because the Sun-Times, Chicago Sun-Times, I should say, was not a very big newspaper for the Sunday paper. The Chicago Tribune was always packed with all the ads and all the other stuff. And the thing I always appreciated was that the Sunday strips for Bloom County were never the continuation of the plot line that was going on in the daily strips. So always liked that. So I wanted to share that. So that is over at Humble Bundle right now. I will have to take a peek. I did glance. I saw there's an RPG book bundle going on, but I think it's just kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different stuff. I don't think there's kind of a rhyme or reason to it, but I might have some information about that on tomorrow's show. So that's it for tonight's show. As I mentioned, I thought we were going to go a little bit longer than usual, which is cool. So, like I said, went with a little bit of lighting, different lighting tonight to make it a little more, a little less soft light and stuff like that, a little more realistic looking, I guess. So, we'll see. I keep playing around. We'll see what I finally settle in onto. I actually liked the look of the show last night, so I might try to kind of keep it like that. But, like I said, I'm playing around. Anyway, so as I already pointed out, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. If you like the channel, be subscribed. Don't forget, ring that little bell. It'll not only tell you when the stream goes live, it will also inform you when I upload a standalone video too. So when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, please visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Everybody who hung out in chat, thank you very much for joining me tonight. All of you who watched live, thank you very much for kind of hanging out and spending some time on a Thursday night. And of course, I appreciate whenever you watch. It doesn't have to be live. It could be on Memorex. Doesn't matter. I always appreciate each and every one of the viewers. So enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. I will be back tomorrow. And until then, happy trails.
Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.